Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be looking at a game that the reigning Meijin Toyoshima played against Yokoyama. This game was played on May 28th, 2019 in the 67th Oza tournament. We end up with a side pawn opening, with white delaying the exchange of rook pawns. White might have done this in order to avoid the Aono variation, which has been scoring very well. Let's go back a couple moves just so I can show that. Okay, so usually they play 8-6 pawn. And after this, 5-8 king is the Aono variation. So he delayed it. I suppose now he could play 5-8 king and try to transpose. But instead of that, he played 3-6 rook. This is a bit unusual. Usually the gold goes to 3-8 instead, and I can't figure out what Toyoshima thought the advantage to doing this was. Initiating an edge attack. If he takes the pawn, then this is a typical move. If lance takes, bishop exchange, and then there's a fork of golden lance. And now if 2-3 silver, simply 2-4 pawn, hitting the defender. If 4-4 bishop, 2-4 rook, this is very good for black. Notice that there isn't any place for white to drop the rook and bishop. And this token is huge. And finally, instead of 4-4 bishop, if 2-5 pawn, this is just good for black. And after 1-2 pawn, if 2-5 pawn, we have this fork again. So in the game, white played 2-5 pawn. Now with the rook on 2-5, this 1-2 pawn drop doesn't work. Because after the exchange, notice that the recapture is with tempo on the rook. So instead of that, Toyoshima pulled the rook back, renewing the threat of 1-2 pawn. But notice that this square on 2-7 is open. If he tries to exchange and drop here, this comes in with too much force. So he had to drop on 7-4 instead. And he still doesn't have a chance to drop on 2-7 because if exchanges, there's this fork on the rook and the lance. So 6-4 pawn instead. And now again, if 2-7 bishop, and there's that fork again, threatening the knight. So he's trying to trap the horse. but the rook comes in on the edge. This is good for black. In the game, white played 8-1 rook. Okay, so finally covers the 2-7 square. Until this point in the game, it's been fairly even, probably somewhat easier for white to play since he has so many pawns in hand. But after 1-6 pawn, Toyoshima didn't let his advantage go at all. Perhaps might have been a little better to play 7-5 pawn instead, but after 1-6 pawn, moving the king away from the direction of the attack. Hitting the knight, and after the silver captures, notice that there's a hole on 6-4. Instead of 7-8 bishop, if 2-5 silver, just cutting off the horse. This is very good for black. So in the game, he played 7-8 bishop. Okay, so the rook is attacked, but you don't retreat attacking pieces unless absolutely necessary. Toyoshima found 2-3 pawn, and he took with the silver. If instead of that he took with the king, okay, if silver takes, it's going to get mated. And if 1-1 king, black wins. So instead of that, white took with the silver, threat mate. Instead of 6-9 silver drop, if he tries to defend with 3-2 silver drop instead. Okay, another threat mate. Let me just pass a move just to show it. Like that. So if he tries to defend with 3-1 lance, okay, this wins. Or if he takes the pawn, he takes the pawn on 4-3. Mate. Instead of 3-1 lance, he could also try 2-3 gold. Winning. So in the game he played 6-9 silver. White resigned. Thank you for joining me today. Any questions or comments can be left down below. If you learned something from this, please give the video a like, remember to subscribe, and let others know about this channel. If you'd like to further support the channel with donations, you can do so by clicking on the Streamlabs link in the description. Donations are not necessary but are always welcome. I'll see you guys later.